What's up, everybody? Rob Anderson, Clean Power Wash, Salisbury, Maryland. Um, what's roof washing, or roof soft washing for that matter? It's something good that, certainly you want to make sure that customers understand what you're doing, obviously understanding what you're doing too. But that, just explaining it to people. Because, they hear power washer talking about cleaning the roof, they're probably thinking, 4,000 PSI. Blasting the moss and lichen off and everything, and there quite frankly is a lot of potential damage that can happen as a result of that. You can remove the granules, and certainly if you're not doing it right, you can kill plants, all kinds of things. So the big thing just to explain to customers, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be soft washing your house. Guys, I'm really sorry about this road. This new doesn't make this any better. But yeah, so with the roof soft wash process, we're using it's either gas powered or electric application system that's going to be applying about 7 or 8 gallons a minute, about 100 psi, 200 max, and that's really just talking about when it's actually leaving the tip. So what hits the surface is going to be about as powerful as rain. When we're doing that process, we're going to make sure that with our mixture we're applying, it's more than just watering and sodium hypochlorite or bleach, but we do put a surfactant and degreaser in there. Surfactant's going to help out just with it clinging a little bit longer, and the degreaser helps just to release that from the surface. Now, one big thing that you need to make sure that you're explaining to the customer, and certainly this will range from area to area. If we're doing this for somebody who's about to sell their house, then yes, rinsing is part of the process. Otherwise, the 90% of the jobs when we do a roof is going to be a no rinse roof cleaning. What that means is that we're going to be spraying the cleaner onto the roof, letting it dwell. We'll either do a partial treat or spot treat first, and then the second part would be the full treatment, or do a full treatment and then touch up those spots. There's people on both sides of the discussion there. When we finish though, all the black streaks are going to be gone. Any moss or mildew or lichen or whatever else is on the roof, it's still going to be there, but it's going to be bright white. That basically means that it's completely dead and dying out. Over the next couple weeks, it's going to finish drying out. Every time it gets a little bit of rain, that'll actually activate the solution on there. Certainly depending on how long. If it takes 2 weeks before you get some rainfall, it's not going to reactivate it. But if we put the roof wash on Monday and get a little bit of a drizzle on Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever, that may activate it a little bit more as well. But that moss and lichen, it's going to look like it's snowed on your roof. You got little bits of snow on there. Again, as that has time to dry out, it will eventually fall off, deteriorate, and then you'll be left with brand new looking shingles. Certainly we can't restore the grit that's already been lost, but with the process that we use, we're not going to be removing additional grit off of there. So that's the real big difference between soft washing and when some people will do literally power washing off of a roof to take that the granules off and everything that's coming with the lichen. And there's really no way to remove what's on the roof without removing the granules unless you give it time. That's just the way it works. The other thing that you want to make sure that you're explaining to customers when you're doing this is that as far as soft wash, as far as partial versus complete wash, as customer, we can do both. Certain houses, one side may not be that bad or may be completely fine, and then the north side of the house makes sense. However, if you're only worried about the side that faces the street and the other side has stuff on it, I have to just be really honest about this. When we clean that one side, as soon as squirrels go run across your roof or other things, and especially if you've got trees and branches and stuff over top of that, that's going to drop more organic matter on there, and that's going to speed up the return of that. If you do a complete clean roof, you're looking at somewhere between 3 to 5 years, if not longer, before you see any return really, or anything really noticeable more than a couple of just shadows. If you do something where you're doing a partial clean, depending on the conditions, how much moisture, humidity, and any other, you know, how bad the roof was to begin with, that can come back in 2 to 3 years. So, and it'll always take, you know, by the time somebody actually calls you, or at least what I've had happen most times, by the time somebody calls you to get the roof done, it's been needing it for a good 5 or 6 years. It probably hasn't either ever been cleaned, or it's been 10 years since it was last cleaned. Very few people actually keep it clean and under control on a regular basis. So just some food for thought when you're trying to sell roof washing. Again, you want to make some sort of educational video to also help, you know, set proper expectations for customers. Again, when somebody's actually going to be selling the house, there is a potential for some granule loss. Again, you're going to do everything possible to minimize that, but obviously leaving dead lichen and moss on top of the roof just isn't going to look right. That's not going to help them, and certainly it's better than what it was looking like before, but if you're buying the house, you want it to look great. So anyways, have a great day, guys. Thanks.